There will be days when everything in you wants to stop. Not because you're weak, but because you're tired. Tired of believing, tired of believing, tired of giving your best and still coming up short. And let me tell you something real. That feeling doesn't mean you're losing. It means you've been fighting. See, success doesn't come to people who never fall. It comes to people who refuse to stay down. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. You just need to take the next step. Keep moving forward when progress is invisible. Keep moving forward when people doubt you. Keep moving forward when your past keeps calling your name. Because forward is where growth lives. Forward is where discipline is built. Forward is where your future is waiting. Every step you take, even slow ones, separates you from who you used to be. As long as you're moving forward, you're still in the game. Most people think progress makes noise. They think when you are growing, everybody should notice. They think when you are becoming better, there should be applause, recognition, validation, and visible results that prove all the effort is worth it. But the truth is, real progress is almost always quiet. It doesn't announce itself, doesn't demand attention. It doesn't ask for permission to exist. It happens in silence, in the moments when nobody is watching and nobody is clapping. There is a dangerous lie in today's world that says if it's not seen, it doesn't matter. Social media has trained us to believe that value comes from visibility. If your grind isn't posted, if your success isn't shared, if your struggle isn't liked or commented on, then somehow it's not real. But the strongest formations in life rarely happen on the stage. They happen in isolation. They happen in early mornings, late nights, empty rooms, and lonely decisions where you choose discipline over comfort without anyone knowing. Silent progress is uncomfortable because it tests your commitment. It forces you to ask yourself a hard question. Would you still work if nobody ever praised you? Would you still show up if nobody ever noticed? Would you still push forward if the only reward was becoming better, not being seen? Most people quit right there, not because they lack talent, but because they crave recognition more than growth. When you are truly progressing, you are often misunderstood. People look at you and think nothing has changed. They don't see the mental battles you've won, the habits you've broken, the discipline you've built, or the maturity you've gained. From the outside, you look the same. Inside, you are becoming someone entirely different. And that invisibility can be frustrating, especially when you are working harder than ever. But understand this, roots grow in darkness. A tree doesn't become strong because of what you see above the ground. It becomes strong because of what you don't see below it. If the roots aren't deep, the first storm will knock it down. The same is true for people. If your progress is only visible and not internal, the moment pressure comes, you collapse. Silent progress builds roots, strengthens you where it matters most. There are seasons in life where God, life, or destiny will intentionally hide you, not to punish you, but to prepare you. In those seasons, doors are closed, attention is minimal, and opportunities seem delayed. You start wondering if you're doing something wrong. But what's actually happening is refinement. You're being shaped without distraction. You're being trained to work without applause, to believe without evidence, and to stay committed without guarantees. The problem is many people mistake silence for stagnation. They think because nothing is happening publicly, nothing is happening at all. So they stop, they give up, they move backward. But silence does not mean inactivity. It means construction is happening behind the scenes. Just because you can't see the building doesn't mean it's not being built. Real progress often feels boring. There's no excitement in doing the same disciplined actions every day. There's no thrill in repetition. There's no dopamine rush in consistency. And because of that, many people abandon the process. They want dramatic change without daily effort. They want overnight success without long-term discipline. Silent progress demands patience, and patience is rare in a world addicted to instant results. Think about the strongest people you know, the most disciplined, the most mentally tough, the most emotionally mature. They didn't become that way by accident. They didn't wake up one day and suddenly have character. They were built through countless quiet moments where they chose growth over ego. Moments where they stayed silent instead of reacting. Moments where they kept going instead of quitting. Moments where they worked on themselves instead of trying to prove themselves. Silent progress also protects you. When everyone knows your plans, opinions start coming. doubt starts spreading. Comparison starts creeping in. Pressure starts building. But when you move in silence, you avoid unnecessary noise. You focus better. You move freely. You grow without interference. Not everyone needs to understand your journey. Not everyone deserves access to your process. There is power in becoming so focused on improvement that you stop needing validation. When you no longer need likes to feel worthy or compliments to feel confident, you become dangerous in the best way. You become self-driven. You become consistent. You become unstoppable. Because now your energy is no longer wasted on seeking approval. It's invested in building excellence. Many people announce their goals too early. They talk about what they're going to do before they've done the work to become the person capable of doing it. Silent progress flips that mindset. It says, oh, let me become first. Let me grow first. Let me build first. Then one day people look up and say, oh, where did this come from? They didn't see the years of quiet effort that made it possible. There will be times when you feel like you are behind because others seem to be advancing faster. They're louder, they're visible, they're celebrated. But remember this, speed without stability is dangerous. Some people silent progress fall harder. Silent progress may be slow, but it's solid. It creates a foundation that doesn't crack under pressure. You have to trust the process even when there's no evidence that it's working. That's one of the hardest parts of growth. You're investing energy, time, and effort, but the return hasn't shown up yet. This is where faith meets discipline. This is where commitment is tested. This is where many people quit, not because it's impossible, but because it's invisible. Understand that every day you choose discipline, something is changing. Your mindset is shifting. Your standards are rising. Your tolerance for excuses is decreasing. Your confidence is strengthening. You may not see it immediately, but one day you will look back and realize you are no longer the same person who started. Silent progress also teaches humility. When you're not constantly praised, you learn to stay grounded. You learn to work without entitlement. You learn that success is earned, not given. And when success finally arrives, you don't let it define you because you know who you were when nobody cared. There's a reason why some of the most successful people in the world talk about lonely roads and quiet seasons. Those were the moments that built them. Those were the moments that sharpened their focus. Those were the moments that forced them to develop inner strength. Without those silent seasons, the success would have crushed them. If you are currently in a phase where nobody sees your effort, don't be discouraged. That is not a curse. It is a gift. You are being trained to move forward without external motivation. You are learning how to rely on discipline instead of emotion. You are building something deeper than applause. Character. Keep going even when it feels like nothing is happening. Keep showing up even when the results are delayed. Keep working even when nobody is watching. Because one day, the quiet work will speak louder than any announcement ever could. Progress doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. It just needs to be consistent. And if you stay committed to silent growth, there will come a moment when the world sees the result. But by then, you won't need the recognition anymore. Most people wait to feel ready before they act. They wait for motivation to show up like a spark, a rush, a sudden wave of energy that makes everything feel easy. They tell themselves, when I feel inspired, I'll start, or when the mood is right, I'll move. But the problem with that mindset is simple and brutal. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It rises and falls with emotions, circumstances, sleep, praise, and comfort. If your progress depends on how you feel, then your future is always at risk. Movement, on the other hand, doesn't ask how you feel. Movement doesn't negotiate with emotions. Movement is a decision. It is an act of discipline. And discipline is what carries you forward when motivation disappears. That's why movement beats motivation every single time. There will be days when you wake up tired, discouraged, overwhelmed, and doubtful. Days when nothing excites you. Days when your mind tells you to slow down, to rest longer than necessary, to postpone what you know needs to be done. On those days, motivation will not save you. Motivation will be silent, but movement can still happen if you choose it. The truth most people don't want to accept is this: you don't need motivation to move. You need commitment. You need a standard that says, no matter how I feel, I act. When you build that standard, you stop being controlled by emotions and start being guided by purpose. Motivation feels good, but it is emotional, and emotions change. They are influenced by success and failure, by people's opinions, by comfort and discomfort. Discipline is different. Discipline is cold. Discipline is consistent. Discipline shows up whether you're excited or exhausted. When motivation fades, discipline takes the wheel and movement continues. People often say, I just don't feel like it today. But feelings were never meant to be leaders. Feelings were meant to be indicators, not decision makers. If athletes trained only when they felt motivated, championships would never be won. If builders worked only when they felt inspired, no skyscraper would ever stand. If you wait for motivation, you will live a life of almosts and maybes. Movement creates motivation, not the other way around. This is something very few people understand. Action generates energy. Progress builds confidence. Momentum creates belief. When you move, even without motivation, something shifts inside you. Your mind begins to catch up with your body. Doubt weakens, resistance fades. What felt heavy starts to feel manageable. The hardest part is always the first step. Not because it requires the most strength, but because it requires you to override your emotions. Once you move, once you start, once you engage, the weight begins to lift. That's why people who rely on movement grow stronger, while people who rely on motivation stay stuck. There's power in doing things you don't feel like doing. Every time you move without motivation, you prove to yourself that you are in control. You build trust with yourself. You show your mind that excuses no longer run your life. That self-trust becomes a source of confidence that no external praise can give you. Motivation makes promises. Movement delivers results. Motivation says, one day I will. Movement says, today I do. Motivation lives in the future. Movement lives in the present. And only what you do in the present shapes your future. Life does not slow down because you're unmotivated. Bills don't pause. Time doesn't wait. Opportunities don't stand still. The world keeps moving forward whether you do or not. And if you don't move with it, you get left behind. Not because you weren't capable, but because you waited too long to feel ready. Movement also builds resilience. When you act without motivation, you train yourself to endure discomfort. You learn how to push through resistance. You develop mental toughness. That toughness becomes your advantage when life gets hard because you're no longer shocked by struggle. You expect it. You move anyway. Many people confuse rest with avoidance. Rest is intentional recovery. Avoidance is hiding behind emotions. Movement doesn't mean burning yourself out or ignoring your health. It means refusing to let excuses disguise themselves as feelings. It means knowing the difference between needing rest and choosing comfort. The reason some people seem unstoppable is not because they are always motivated. It's because they have mastered movement. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for the right mood. They don't wait for encouragement. They move first and motivation follows. When you move consistently, your identity begins to change. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who does. That identity shift is powerful. It changes how you talk, how you think, and how you respond to challenges. You stop asking, can I do this? And start asking, what's next? Movement turns discipline into habit, and habit turns effort into lifestyle. At first, moving without motivation feels forced. It feels unnatural. It feels uncomfortable. But over time, it becomes who you are. You don't debate whether to move. You just move. That's when progress becomes inevitable. One of the biggest traps people fall into is waiting for confidence. They think once they feel confident, they'll act. But confidence is not a prerequisite for movement. Confidence is a byproduct of movement. You become confident by showing yourself that you can act despite fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Fear loses its power when you move through it. Doubt weakens when you act in spite of it. Anxiety shrinks when you take control. Movement doesn't eliminate fear, but it puts you in charge instead of letting fear decide your future. Every day, you are voting for the person you are becoming. Each action is a vote. Each movement is a declaration. When you move despite low motivation, you vote for strength. When you move despite resistance, you vote for growth. When you move despite fear, you vote for courage. Most breakthroughs don't come from sudden inspiration. They come from accumulated effort. Small actions done consistently over time. No fireworks, no dramatic moments. Just movement day after day, step after step. That kind of progress doesn't look impressive at first, but it compounds. And one day, the results speak for themselves. Movement also teaches humility. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you that success is built, not wished into existence. It removes entitlement and replaces it with responsibility. When you move daily, you stop expecting things to be easy and start accepting that effort is part of the price. There'll be moments when you move and still don't see results. That's where most people stop. They say, what's the point? But movement without immediate reward is still shaping you. It's building patience. It's strengthening discipline. It's preparing you for opportunities you can't see yet. You don't always move because you feel hopeful. Sometimes you move because stopping will cost you more. Because staying still will slowly drain your potential. Because you understand that forward motion, even imperfect, is better than waiting in fear. Movement doesn't require clarity. You don't need all the answers. You don't need all the answers. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need certainty. You just need the next step. Clarity comes after movement, not before it. The path reveals itself as you walk it. When motivation returns, it feels good. But when discipline is already in place, motivation becomes a bonus instead of a necessity. You don't depend on it. You use it when it shows up, but you don't stop when it leaves. The strongest version of you is not the one who feels motivated every day. It's the one who moves every day. The one who shows up tired. The one who keeps going when it's boring. The one who refuses to let emotions decide the outcome. If you want to change your life, don't wait to feel different. Do something different. Move first, act first. Step forward even when your mind resists. Because movement creates momentum, momentum creates confidence, and confidence creates transformation. At the end of the day, success doesn't belong to the most motivated. It belongs to the most consistent. And consistency is built on movement, not feelings. When you master that truth, you stop waiting for inspiration and start becoming unstoppable. Pain is not a stop sign. That is a message that most people don't want to hear because pain is uncomfortable. Pain is heavy. Pain is exhausting. Here has a way of making you question everything you are doing, everything you have done, and sometimes even everything you believe about yourself. But pain is not a stop sign. Pain is not an indicator that you have reached your limit or that you should give up. Pain is information. Pain is a signal that something important is happening in your life, something that requires your attention, something that's preparing you for the next level. It's a message from life, from the universe, from yourself saying, pay attention, adjust, grow, move differently. Pain is inevitable. If you are alive, if you are breathing, if you are pursuing something meaningful, you will feel pain. There's no avoiding it. Pain is not the enemy. It is part of the journey. And the way most people respond to pain is what determines whether they succeed or fail. Most people see pain as a punishment, as a signal to stop, as a reason to quit. But the truth is, pain is a teacher. It teaches endurance, resilience, patience, and discipline. Pain forces you to confront your weaknesses, your fear, and your limits. It forces you to see the truth about yourself that you might otherwise avoid. When you are in pain, it's tempting to look for excuses. It's tempting to justify quitting, to delay action, to convince yourself that the struggle's too much. But every time you stop because of pain, you reinforce weakness. Every time you allow pain to dictate your choices, you give up power over your life. Real growth happens when you move through pain, not around it. Real strength is built when you keep walking, even when it hurts. Real success comes when you endure what others won't. Pain has a unique way of separating the ordinary from the extraordinary. Everyone experiences pain, but not everyone responds to it in a way that leads to greatness. Pain is a test, and the results depend on your response. You can respond to pain with fear, avoidance, and self-pity, or you can respond with courage, resilience, and relentless action. The choice is always yours, but only those who embrace pain as part of the process will discover their full potential. Think about the greatest achievers in history. Every one of them has faced immense pain, failure, loss, rejection, betrayal, doubt. Pain was a constant companion, but they did not allow it to stop them. They did not let it become a barrier. Instead, they used it as fuel. They use pain as a lens to see their weaknesses and a ladder to climb higher than they ever thought possible. Pain taught them more about themselves than comfort ever could. Pain forced them to develop skills, habits, and mindsets that would have been impossible without struggle. Pain also has the power to clarify purpose. When life hurts, when challenges feel unbearable, when everything seems to be working against, that is often when you discover what truly matters. Pain exposes what you care about, what you value, and what you are willing to fight for. Pain is a spotlight. It illuminates your priorities. It forces you to ask yourself, am I willing to endure this to achieve my dream? Am I willing to persist when it's hard? Am I willing to keep moving forward even when it hurts? Your answers to these questions determine the trajectory of your life. The reality is that pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional. Pain is a part of life. Suffering is how you respond to it. You can let pain paralyze you, or you can let it propel you. You can let pain destroy your spirit, or you can let it strengthen your resolve. The choice is not always easy, but it is always yours. And the people who succeed, the people who move forward when everyone else stops, are the ones who understand this distinction. Pain is often temporary, but quitting has permanent consequences. When you stop because of pain, the opportunity may never come again. The lesson may remain unlearned. The potential you could have reached may be lost forever. Pain may feel unbearable in the moment, but the regret of giving up is far heavier. Pain is a moment. Perseverance is a legacy. There is also a difference between destructive pain and constructive pain. Destructive pain comes from things that are unhealthy, toxic, or harmful. Constructive pain comes from challenges that push you to grow, from struggles that build strength, from obstacles that develop character. Knowing the difference is critical, but once you recognize constructive pain, you must lean into it, not run from it. Every meaningful achievement in life comes with a price. That price is often discomfort, struggle, and pain. If you are unwilling to pay it, you will never reach your potential. Pain forces decision. It forces you to act. It forces you to choose between mediocrity and greatness, between giving up and persevering, between fear and courage. It doesn't wait for convenience or comfort. Pain doesn't care about timing or circumstance. Pain is relentless, but so can you be. If you learn to embrace it, to see it for what it really is, you gain power. Pain becomes a tool instead of an obstacle, a compass instead of a barrier, a teacher instead of a tyrant. Pain also builds empathy. People who have never experienced hardship often lack understanding of others. They fail to grasp the struggles, the sacrifices, and the battles others face. But when you experience pain and move through it, you gain insight into the human experience. You become more compassionate, more patient, more aware of what it means to fight and persevere. Pain transforms you internally as much as it transforms your external reality. One of the most important lessons pain teaches is patience. Growth takes time. Progress takes time. Healing takes time. Pain reminds you that nothing worth having comes instantly, and that the process itself is part of the reward. It forces you to slow down, to endure, to develop stamina. Pain is the resistance you must overcome to develop resilience. And resilience is what carries you through life when circumstances become harsh. Another lesson of pain is accountability. When you face difficulty, you are confronted with yourself. You see where you've made mistakes, where you've fallen short, where you've neglected effort or discipline. Pain doesn't allow you to hide. It forces honesty, and that honesty is essential for growth. Without it, you cannot learn. Without it, you cannot improve. Without it, you cannot become the person you are capable of being. Pain also strengthens faith and belief. When you push through adversity, when you act despite discomfort, when you persist when it would be easier to quit, you build trust in yourself. You prove to yourself that you are capable. You prove to yourself that you can endure. You prove to yourself that you can succeed despite challenges. That kind of faith in your own capacity is unshakable. It carries you forward when circumstances are uncertain, when the path is unclear, when the world seems to conspire against you. Pain is preparation. Every challenge, every failure, every setback, every moment of discomfort is preparing you for what lies ahead. Life doesn't waste struggle. Pain is the sharpening stone for your skills, your character, and your perseverance. The person who fears pain misses this opportunity. The person who embraces pain gains the advantage. They develop strength that others cannot understand because they have endured what others would not. There will be moments when pain feels like too much. Moments when you feel weak, inadequate, or overwhelmed. Moments when quitting feels like the only option. And in those moments, remember this: pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Pain is your signal that growth is happening. Pain is your proof that you are alive and reaching for something beyond comfort. Pain is the fire that forges champions. Pain will come for everyone. The question is, how will you respond? Will you see it as a stop sign, a reason to quit, a confirmation that you are not enough? Or will you see it as information, a challenge, a test of your strength, courage, and resolve? The choice is yours. The people who succeed are not those who avoid pain. They are those who endure it, learn from it, and let it propel them forward. Pain is inevitable. Quitting is optional. Moving forward in spite of pain is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Pain teaches, molds, and transforms. Pain is the foundation upon which resilience, strength, and greatness are built. It is uncomfortable, demanding, relentless, and often unfair, but it's never meaningless. Every step you take through pain brings you closer to life you are capable of living. Every act of endurance, every decision to persist, every refusal to let pain dictate your path is a victory in itself. When you embrace pain as part of the journey rather than as a barrier, you change your relationship with life. Challenges become opportunity. Setbacks become lessons. Discomfort becomes a teacher. Pain stops being something to fear and becomes a tool to wield. You learn to trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that each moment of struggle is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. In the end, pain is inevitable, but it is also temporary. The growth, strength, and character you gain from enduring pain are permanent. Pain is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the crucible that forges your potential into reality. Pain is not a stop sign. It is a signal to rise, to push, to fight, and to keep moving forward. The people who succeed in life are not those who avoid pain. They are those who embrace it, learn from it, and let it drive them to achieve greatness beyond what they ever imagined. Pain is not a stop sign. Pain is a teacher. Pain is a guide. Pain is the fire that creates resilience, the pressure that builds character, and the test that separates the strong from the weak. Keep moving forward. Step through the pain. Let it shape you, not break you. Let it refine you, not define you. Pain is part of the journey, and if you use it wisely, it will lead you to heights you never thought possible. You will stumble, you will struggle, you will hurt, but stopping is optional. Moving forward is your choice. And every time you choose to move forward, despite the pain, you grow stronger, wiser, and closer to your destiny. Pain is not a stop sign. It is the starting point of greatness. Most people are obsessed with speed. They want fast results. They want instant success. They want overnight recognition. They scroll through social media. They see people achieving what seems impossible and what looks like no time at all. And they feel small. They feel behind. So they feel like they're losing the race. But let me tell you something. Speed does not equal progress. Quick wins are often temporary. Instant gratification is a trap. What lasts, what builds character, what creates true results cannot be rushed. Slow still counts. There's a quiet power in consistency. There's a strength in showing up even when progress feels invisible. There is wisdom in taking small steps day after day because those steps accumulate. Every single action you take toward your goals matters, even if it doesn't feel like it matters. Every small choice, every time you push yourself when it's hard, it counts. Slow doesn't mean you're weak. Slow means you are building a foundation. Slow means you are preparing yourself for the long game. Slow means you are enduring what others will not. And that is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Think about the strongest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most resilient leaders. Do you think they became who they are overnight? Do you think they reached their level of greatness instantly? No. They started small, they failed, they made mistakes. They moved slowly at times, but they never stopped. They knew that the journey cannot be rushed. They understood that building skill, character, and mastery takes time. And slow still counted. You cannot compare your progress to someone else's highlight reel. You cannot measure your growth by their fastest moments. People post victories, they post success, they post results. But they rarely post the years of discipline, the repeated failures, the late nights, the early morning, the countless hours of work that make those victories possible. So don't be discouraged if you feel slow. Your process is yours, and slow still counts. Slow teaches patience. When you move too quickly, you miss lessons, you miss opportunities to grow, to learn, to develop the strength necessary to sustain success. Slow allows you to absorb experience, to refine skills, to understand the value of persistence. Every time you move forward, even slowly, you are proving to yourself that you can endure. You are learning that the journey is as important as the destination. You are developing resilience that will carry you farther than speed ever could. There is a misconception that if you're not ahead of everyone else, you're behind. That if you're not the first to reach the goal, you are failing. But life is not a race against other people. It's a race against yourself. Your growth is your own. Your pace is your own. And slow still counts because progress is relative, not comparative. Moving forward, no matter the speed, keeps you in the game. Stopping is the only way to fall behind. Slow builds habits. Fast action without foundation is like building a house on sand. One gust of wind, one challenge, one failure, and it collapses. But slow, consistent action builds strength. Slow, repeated effort ingrains discipline. Slow, daily commitment creates unshakable habits that carry you forward even when motivation leaves. Slow still counts because every small step solidifies your foundation. Think about the process of growing anything worth having. Learning a new skill, building a career, creating wealth, developing character. It all takes time. No amount of rushing will replace the process. You cannot skip steps. You cannot shortcut growth. You cannot bypass the challenges and still reach mastery. Slow still counts because each moment of effort is building your future self. Each time you persist, even when it's hard, you are shaping a person who will succeed. Slow forces reflection. When you take time, you see patterns, you learn from mistakes, you adjust your strategy, and you improve. Rushing often blinds you to lessons. It leaves you repeating errors. It leaves you vulnerable. Slow allows you to pay attention. Slow allows you to refine your craft. Slow allows you to build a strong, sustainable foundation. And that is why slow still counts. There will be moments when you want to quit because progress seems too slow. You'll look around, see others achieving quickly, and feel like you're falling behind. But remember this, slow is not nothing. Slow is movement. Slow is discipline. Slow is endurance. And slow, sustained effort outlasts bursts of speed. It outperforms shortcuts. It wins in the long run. Slow still counts because it carries you through the storms that speed cannot survive. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a vote for your future. Every action, even if it feels insignificant, compounds over time. You may not see the results today, tomorrow, or even next month, but eventually they manifest. Eventually the small actions create massive outcomes. Eventually your consistency pays off. Slow still count, and when the results come, they are lasting, powerful, and undeniable. Remember, nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing worth achieving comes quickly. Pain, struggle, failure, they are part of the journey. And slow allows you to endure them, to learn from them, and to use them as fuel. Fast results often crumble when challenges arise. Slow, deliberate progress withstands pressure because it is built on strength, patience, and persistence. Slow still counts because it teaches resilience. When you move forward despite obstacles, despite fatigue, despite frustration, you are training your mind and your spirit. You are teaching yourself that you can endure. You are learning that temporary discomfort cannot stop permanent progress. And every time you persist, you strengthen your capacity to overcome the next challenge. So stop worrying about how fast others are moving. Stop comparing your journey to theirs. Stop believing that speed defines success. Slow still counts because progress is cumulative. Slow still counts because endurance is more valuable than speed. Slow still counts because the person who shows up every day, who persists, who refuses to quit, will ultimately outlast those who rush and burn out. When you embrace slow, you embrace reality. You accept that growth takes time. That mastery requires effort. That true success is built, not wished into existence. You stop being discouraged by what you cannot control and focus on what you can. Consistent, deliberate action. You stop being a victim of impatience and become a master of your own process. And in that mastery, you discover power. The most successful people are not the fastest. They are the most persistent. They are the ones persistent. They are the ones who kept showing up when progress felt invisible. They are the ones who endured, who learned, who refined, who built foundations strong enough to sustain greatness. Slow still counts because it is the path to that kind of lasting achievement. Every day you move forward, no matter how slowly, you are building momentum. Momentum is unstoppable. It doesn't matter how small the steps are. What matters is that they are forward. Every time you resist quitting, every time you push a little further, every time you commit to one more action, you are winning. Slow still counts because victory is cumulative. Every small win adds up. So embrace the process. Embrace the small steps. Embrace the slow pace. Celebrate every action, no matter how minor it seems. Understand that real change, real growth, real success does not happen overnight. It happens in the quiet moments, the repeated effort, the patient persistence, and the unwavering commitment to move forward. Slow still counts. Self by how fast others are moving. Measure yourself by whether you are moving at all. Measure yourself by whether you are improving, growing, learning, and persevering. As long as you move forward, even slowly, you are succeeding. And one day, all that slow, consistent effort will compound into something extraordinary. And when that day comes, you will realize that slow always counted. Keep going, keep moving, keep showing up. Slow still counts, and your persistence will become your power. Your patient, consistent action will outlast the impatience of those chasing quick results. Your slow steps will carry you to heights that speed could never reach. And remember, slow means weak. Slow means intentional. Slow means strong. Slow means unstoppable. Keep moving forward, because slow still count. And every step you take is a step closer to your destiny. Your past cannot chase you forever. That is one of the most powerful truths you must understand if you want to move forward in life. Most people are trapped, not by circumstance, not by opportunity, but by their own history. They carry their mistakes, their failures, their regrets, their embarrassments, and their disappointments like heavy chains around their necks. And every time they try to move forward, they feel the weight pulling them back. But the truth is, your past cannot chase you forever. It only has the power you give it. It only controls you when you allow it to. And once you understand that, once you internalize that, everything changes. Your past is not a prison. It is a teacher. It is a series of lessons, not a life sentence. Every mistake, every failure, every wrong choice, every regret, these are not permanent markers of who you are. They are information. They are signals that tell you where to adjust, where to improve. Too many people look at their past and see it as proof of inadequacy. They see it as evidence that they are not worthy, not capable, not deserving. But that is a lie. Your past is not proof of who you are. It is the raw material from which you can build the person you are becoming. The problem is that most people let their past define them. They let a single failure from 5, 10, or 15 years ago dictate how they live today. They replay old conversations, old mistakes, old disappointments over and over in their mind. They wear regret like a badge of shame, as if carrying it somehow absolves them or makes them stronger. But carrying regret only slows you down. Carrying shame only keeps you stuck. The past has no power over the future unless you hand it that power. Your past is not a living thing. It cannot chase you. It cannot run. It cannot reach out and grab you. The only way it affects you is through your mind. And if your mind is focused on forward movement, if your mind is determined to grow, if your mind refuses to let yesterday control today, your past becomes powerless. It becomes a story, a memory, a lesson, but it cannot dictate your next move unless you let it. Think about all the people who have achieved greatness. Do you think they were perfect? Do you think they didn't fail, didn't make mistakes, didn't suffer setbacks? No, they did. They fell repeatedly. They stumbled. They fell hard. They faced rejection, ridicule, and disappointment. They refused to let those experiences define them. They understood that the past is history, not prophecy. Your past is not predictive of your future. You get to decide what happens next. There's a principle here that is simple. Where you've been does not determine where you're going. Every day is a new opportunity. Every day is a fresh start. Every day is a chance to rewrite your story. And the moment you accept that your past cannot chase you, you step into freedom. You stop being a prisoner of old mistakes and you start becoming the architect of your future. But here's the thing. Accepting that truth requires courage. It requires confronting the reality of your past without letting it paralyze you. It requires being honest about where you went wrong, what you could have done differently, and what you have learned. It requires humility to admit mistakes, responsibility to own them, and determination to move past them. Most people never get to this point because they are afraid. They are afraid of facing themselves. They are afraid of the pain of acknowledgement. But if you want to be free, you must be willing to stare your past in the face and say, you do not control me. You cannot dictate my destiny. You are a chapter, not the whole book. Your past is also a mirror, not a jailer. It shows you patterns. It highlights behaviors that need adjustment. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you patience. It teaches you what not to do again. But too many people look at that mirror and see only shame. They see only failure. They forget that the purpose of reflection is not to punish, but to prepare. Your past can be a powerful teacher if you allow it to be, but it cannot be if you are consumed by it. The past is heavy because people treat it like a burden instead of a tool. They drag it with them like a suitcase full of regrets. And every step forward is harder because they are carrying unnecessary weight. Imagine trying to run a marathon with 50 pounds strapped to your back. It is nearly impossible. But that's what people do when they let their past chase them. They make their own journey harder than it has to be. Let go of the past. Release it. Understand it, learn from it, and move on. Your past cannot chase you forever. Only you can give it that power. One of the reasons people let the past control them is fear. Fear of repeating mistakes. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. But fear is a lie. Fear exaggerates the power of yesterday and minimizes the power of today. Fear tells you that your failures define you, but they do not. Fear tells you that your setbacks are permanent, but they are not. Fear tells you to stay small, to stay comfortable, to stay stuck, but you were not created to be stuck. You were created to move forward, to rise, to grow, and to conquer. Forward motion is the antidote to a chasing past. Every step you take today, every action you make, every decision to keep moving despite fear or doubt weakens the grip of yesterday. When you focus on growth, on improvement, on becoming better, your past loses relevance. It cannot keep pace with the person you are becoming. It cannot influence the trajectory of your life if you refuse to let it. Your past is powerless against a forward moving mind. Let me be clear. Moving forward does not mean forgetting. It does not mean ignoring mistakes. It does not mean pretending the past never happened. To move forward effectively, you must acknowledge your history, take ownership of your role in it, and extract the lessons. But then you must act. You must refuse to let old patterns dictate new outcomes. You must refuse to let regret immobilize you. The past is a reference point, not a stopping point. The greatest obstacle to forward motion is not the past itself. It's the story you tell yourself about the past. Most people replay the same narratives over and over. I'm not good enough because of what I did. I'll never succeed because of what happened. I'm destined to fail because I messed up before. Those stories are lies. They are mental chains, and you have the power to break them. You have the power to rewrite the narrative. You have the power to tell yourself, I am learning, I'm growing, I am moving forward. My past cannot chase me. Your future is bigger than your history. Your potential is greater than your mistakes. Your dreams are not limited by your failures. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory over the past. Every choice to persevere is a declaration that yesterday does not own you. Every action to improve yourself is proof that you are not defined by what happened, but by what you do next. There will be moments when old feelings resurface. Regret will whisper in your ear. Guilt will try to hold you back. Shame will attempt to anchor you to the past. In those moments, you must remember, those feelings are only signal. They are not stop signs. They are not indicators of failure. They are reminders to stay aware, to learn, and then to move forward anyway. Your past cannot chase you forever, only if you let it. Freedom comes when you stop letting yesterday control today. Freedom comes when you focus on the actions you can take now the choices you can make today, the steps you can take to become better, stronger, and wiser. Freedom comes when you understand that growth is a forward-moving journey, not a backward-looking fixation. Your past is behind you. Your future is ahead. Keep your eyes on what is in front, and the past will lose its grip. The people who succeed in life are not those who have perfect pasts. They are not those who avoided failure. They are not those who live without mistakes. They are people who refuse to be imprisoned by what came before. They are people who acknowledge their past, learn from it, and then made the conscious choice to keep moving forward. They understood that your past cannot chase you forever, and they used that knowledge as a weapon, not a weakness. Every time you allow your past to chase you, you give it power. Every time you replay old mistakes, you reinforce change. Every time you dwell on what you cannot change, you delay what you can. So every time you focus on today, take action now and refuse to let yesterday dictate your next move. You break free. Your past cannot chase you forever. It cannot overtake you if you are committed to forward motion. Stop giving your past the attention it does not deserve. Stop letting regret define your word. Stop letting old failures dictate new outcomes. Stop letting history hold the pen to your story. You are the author of your life. You are the driver of your destiny, and the only way to win the race of life is to keep moving forward, step by step, choice by choice by choice, action by action. Remember, your past is a reference, not a ruler. Your past is information, not identity. Your past is behind you, not ahead. And the moment you accept this truth, you free yourself to achieve, to grow, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Keep moving forward. Every step you take is proof that your past cannot chase you forever, and every forward step brings you closer to the greatness that awaits you. Your past cannot chase you forever. It is powerless unless you give it power. And when you realize this, when you internalize it, when you live it every day, you unlock the freedom, the energy and the strength to become unstoppable. Keep moving forward. Keep pushing. Keep growing. Keep rising. Because the past is behind you and your future is waiting. Consistency beats intensity. That is one of the hardest truths for most people to accept because we live in a culture that glorifies bursts of energy, sudden breakthroughs, and dramatic results. We are constantly bombarded by stories of overnight success, viral fame, and instant transformations. And it makes us think that if we are not achieving massive results quickly, we are failing. But that is a lie. Intensity without consistency is fleeting. Effort without regularity is wasted. Motivation without routine is temporary. Consistency beats intensity every single time. The people who achieve greatness are not necessarily the ones who work the hardest in short bursts. They are the ones who show up every day, who put in the work when it's inconvenient, who refuse to let excuses dictate their actions. They are the ones who do what they are supposed to do even when they don't feel like it. Intensity is impressive, but consistency is unstoppable. You can have bursts of passion, you can have moments of extreme effort, but if you do not show up day after day, if you do not commit to repeated action, all of that energy dissipates. And fades. It is gone. Only consistency remains. Consistency is powerful because it builds momentum. Momentum compounds over time. When you show up every day, even in small ways, you create a chain reaction. You develop habits. You train your mind and your body to operate at a higher level. You strengthen your discipline and your resilience. Intensity is like a firework, bright, exciting, and temporary. Consistency is like the sun. It rises every day, steady, unwavering, powerful, and life-giving. Most people fail because they chase intensity instead of consistency. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect idea, the perfect opportunity. They pour themselves into a project for a week or a month, and when the results don't match their expectations immediately, they quit. They think that if the effort isn't dramatic, it isn't enough. But that is a trap. Results are rarely the product of a single intense effort. Results are the product of repeated, consistent actions over time. That is how mastery is built. That is how success is achieved. Consistency teaches patience. Growth is not instant. Progress is often invisible until it reaches a tipping point. You may not see immediate results from the effort you put in today, tomorrow, or even next month. But every action counts. Every choice counts. Every time you show up, you are investing in your future self. Every small step, every repetition, every effort compounds. The people who win are not those who try once, twice, or 10 times. They are the ones who persist, who endure, who continue showing up long after the excitement fades. Consistency also builds trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your process, trust in your ability to overcome challenges. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, no matter how small, you reinforce a belief in your own capabilities. You tell your mind, your body, and your spirit that you can handle difficulty. You tell your dreams that you are serious about pursuing them. And that trust becomes a foundation that supports everything else you do. Intensity cannot build that trust. Only consistency can. When life gets hard, and you will be tested. You will face obstacles, setbacks, failures, and doubts. When you face those challenges, your consistency is what will carry you through. Intensity might give you a momentary boost, but it will not sustain you. Only the person who has cultivated the habit of showing up day in and day out can withstand pressure, endure pain, and push forward when everything seems against them. Consistency creates strength that intensity cannot match. Consistency is also the secret to mastery. You can practice intensely for a week, a month, or even a year, but if you do not maintain regular practice, your skills will stagnate. Mastery is not about how hard you try in isolated bursts. Mastery is about showing up repeatedly, refining your craft, and continually improving no matter the circumstances. The person who succeeds is not the one with the most energy on day one. They are the one who has maintained effort on day 365, year after year. It is also important to understand that consistency does not mean perfection. Showing up consistently does not require that you perform flawlessly every time. Showing up consistently does not mean that every day will be your best day. Showing up consistently means committing to the process, committing to action, committing to moving forward. Even when it is hard, even when it's boring, even when it feels like nothing is happening, it's happening. Consistency is about endurance, not perfection. Life will test your commitment. There will be days when you feel exhausted, discouraged, or overwhelmed. Will be moments when you want to quit, when giving up seems easier than showing up. Those are the moments that separate the winners from the rest. Winners are not necessarily the ones who never feel doubt or fatigue. They are the ones who persist anyway. They are the ones who understand that consistency is more important than motivation, more important than excitement, more important than intensity. The truth is that intensity is easy when you feel inspired. Consistency is hard when you feel uninspired. Intensity is convenient when conditions are favorable. Consistency is power when conditions are not. And life will not always give you favorable conditions. Life will throw challenges at you. Life will test your limit. Life will test your limits. Life will demand that you show up even when it hurts. That is why consistency is the ultimate weapon. It is the thing that separates people who achieve their goals from those who merely dream. Consistency also teaches humility. When you show up every day, you learn that progress is a process. You learn that results do not come instantly. You learn that success is built, not wished into existence. You learn that small, repeated actions have more impact than dramatic one-time efforts. Consistency humbles you by showing you that no matter how talented you are, no matter how motivated you are, the work is never done. But that humility also strengthens you. It gives you perspective. It gives you resilience. It gives you the mindset required to endure. Every step you take consistently, every effort you put in day after day is an investment in your future. You are building momentum. You are creating results that will compound. You are developing habits that will carry you further than you ever imagined. You are constructing a foundation that cannot be shaken by temporary challenges, fleeting distractions, or short-lived bursts of energy. Consistency is the blueprint for long-term success. Most people fail not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lack consistency. They try hard for a moment, then fade. They start with intensity but do not sustain. They allow motivation to dictate action instead of committing to a routine. But the people who win understand this. Consistency beats intensity every time. Showing up repeatedly, day after day, even when it is hard, even when it is boring, even when progress seems invisible, is what separates the average from the exception. Consistency also builds confidence. Every time you show up, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Every time you endure, you reinforce your belief in your ability to overcome. Every small win compounds into a bigger sense of self-efficacy, a deeper understanding of your potential, and an unshakable belief that you can achieve whatever you set your mind to. Intensity might give you temporary confidence, but consistency builds lasting, unbreakable confidence. The people who succeed in life are rarely the ones who burn out the fastest. They are rarely the ones who start with the most intensity. They are the ones who persist. They are the ones who endure. They are the ones who commit to showing up day after day, regardless of circumstance. They understand that life is a marathon, not a sprint. They understand that small, consistent actions compound into extraordinary results. That is why consistency beats intensity. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, you must commit to consistency. You must show up even when you don't feel like it. You must keep moving forward, even when progress feels invisible. You must trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that your repeated actions will pay off. Every day you persist, you reinforce your strength, your discipline, and your ability to endure. Consistency is the currency of long-term success, and every small action is an investment. Remember, it is not the intensity of your efforts that determines your results. It is the repetition and the refusal to quit. Consistency compounds. It grows over time. It creates momentum. It builds character. It creates unshakable habits and unstoppable determination. Intensity may light a fire, but consistency keeps it burning for a lifetime. So start today. Commit to showing up. Commit to taking action every day. Commit to doing what it takes, even when it is hard, even when it's boring, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Commit to the process. Trust the process. And remember, consistency beats intensity. Day after day, step after step, action after action, your persistent efforts will carry you to the life you dream of, the success you desire, and the greatness you were born to achieve. Consistency beats intensity. Not once, not sometimes, not when it is convenient. Every single time. Commit to it. Live it, breathe it, and let it carry you forward to a life beyond what you ever imagined possible. Belief in yourself is the ultimate game changer. It is the cornerstone of achievement, the fuel behind every accomplishment, and the force that separates the dreamers from the doers. Too many people underestimate the power of self-belief because they confuse it with arrogance or overconfidence. They think believing in yourself means thinking you are perfect, invincible, or beyond failure. But true belief in yourself is neither arrogance nor denial. It is clarity. It is understanding your potential, acknowledging your worth, and refusing to let doubt, fear, or external judgment dictate your action. Belief in yourself is the foundation upon which everything else is built, and without it, progress is nearly impossible. The first step to believing in yourself is knowing your value. You have been given unique talents, skills, perspectives, and experiences that no one else possesses. Too often, people compare themselves to others and diminish their own worth. They measure themselves against someone else's journey, someone else's success, someone else's speed, and conclude they are not enough. But the truth is that comparison is a thief of self-belief. Your value is inherent. It does not fluctuate based on other people's accomplishments, opinions, or expectations. Understanding that your worth is non-negotiable is the first step in developing unshakable self-belief. Belief in yourself also requires courage. The courage to act even when the outcome is uncertain. The courage to take risks even when failure is possible. And the courage to move forward when others doubt you. Most people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions to act. But perfection is an illusion, and waiting for it only guarantees stagnation. Self-belief is what allows you to step into the unknown with confidence, to take bold action, and to trust that your abilities are sufficient to overcome the obstacles ahead. Without courage, belief remains theoretical. It does not translate into action. Confidence grows through preparation and action. You do not simply decide to believe in yourself. You build that belief by proving to yourself that you are capable. Every time you take action, every time you tackle a challenge, every time you step outside your comfort zone and succeed, or even fail and learn, you reinforce the truth that you are capable. Self-belief is strengthened through experience, and experience comes from action, not passivity. Waiting for belief to magically appear is futile. It must be cultivated through deliberate effort. Belief in yourself also requires resilience. Life will challenge you. Obstacles will arise. Critics will appear. Failures will test your resolve. And in those moments, self-belief is what keeps you moving. Believing in yourself does not mean that difficulties do not exist. It means that no difficulty is strong enough to shake your core confidence in your ability. It means that you are willing to endure, adapt, and to persist regardless of circumstance. Resilience and self-belief are inseparable. They feed each other. The stronger your belief, the more resilient you become. And the more resilient you are, the stronger your belief grows. Self-belief also requires taking full ownership of your life. Too many people let circumstances, other people, or external validation determine their path. They give away their power by waiting for permission, approval, or acknowledgement. True belief in yourself means recognizing that you are responsible for your destiny. It means refusing to blame others, refusing to make excuses, and refusing to let external factors control your trajectory. When you believe in yourself, you understand that your life is in your hand and that empowerment fuels action, persistence, and success. Belief in yourself allows you to endure rejection and criticism. There will always be people who doubt you, who question your abilities, who try to convince you that you are not enough. These voices can be loud and persistent, but when you believe in yourself, external criticism loses its power. You do not seek validation from others because you already recognize your worth. You do not measure your value by others' opinions because your self-belief is unshakable. Critics may provide feedback, but they cannot dictate your path. They cannot define your limits. Only you can do that. And belief in yourself ensures that your limits are self-determined, not imposed. Self-belief fuels persistence. The road to success is never smooth. It is filled with challenges, setbacks, and failures. Many people give up because they lose faith in themselves when things get hard. But those who believe in themselves continue to push forward despite difficulty. They understand that setbacks are temporary and that persistence in the face of adversity is the only path to achievement. Belief in yourself transforms obstacles into opportunity, lessons, and challenges into stepping stones. Without self-belief, persistence fades. With it, you become unstoppable. Belief in yourself also inspires others. When you act with confidence, determination, and conviction, people notice. They are drawn to your energy. They believe in you because you believe in yourself. Self-belief is contagious. It radiates through your actions, your words, and your presence. When you embody confidence, you create influence. You attract support, opportunities, and collaboration. And collaboration because others can sense the certainty and clarity you carry. Your belief not only propels you forward, but also empowers those around you to reach higher, aim further, and push harder. Belief in yourself requires vision, the ability to see beyond current circumstances and imagine a future that is better than your present. Too many people are limited by what is visible, what is tangible, what is comfortable. They allow immediate reality to dictate their possibility. But belief in yourself allows you to dream bigger, aim higher, and pursue goals that may seem impossible to others. Vision fuels motivation, and belief fuels the courage to act on that vision. Together, they create unstoppable momentum. Belief in yourself demands accountability. It is easy to blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for setbacks. But true belief means accepting responsibility for your actions, decisions, and outcome. It means understanding that choices shape your reality, and that growth requires honest evaluation, reflection, and correction. When you hold yourself accountable, you reinforce your self-belief because you recognize that you have the power to change, improve, and succeed. Accountability strengthens confidence, and confidence reinforces belief, creating a cycle that propels you forward. Belief in yourself also requires patience. Success does not come overnight. Mastery is not achieved instantly. Dreams take time, effort, and repeated action. There will be moments when progress feels invisible, when results are delayed, and when doubt creeps in. But self-belief is the anchor that keeps you steady. It allows you to trust the process, endure the journey, and remain committed even when immediate results are absent. Belief in yourself ensures that patience is not passive. It is active, persistent, and purposeful. Self-belief is not static. It grows as you grow. Each challenge you overcome, each goal you achieve, each lesson you learn reinforces your confidence. It compounds over time, creating a reservoir of inner strength that no obstacle can deplete. Every experience, good or bad, becomes evidence of your capability. And the more you believe in yourself, the more opportunities you will recognize, the more challenges you will overcome, and the more your potential will expand. Belief in yourself also requires eliminating self-doubt. Doubt is the enemy of action. It undermines effort, delays progress, and paralyzes potential. When you cultivate self-belief, you silence doubt. You replace uncertainty with certainty, hesitation with action, and fear with courage. Every time you act in alignment with your belief, you reinforce your confidence and weaken doubt. Over time, doubt becomes a whisper and self-belief becomes your loudest voice. Belief in yourself transforms your mindset. It shifts your focus from limitation to possibility, from fear to courage, from inaction to action. It allows you to approach challenges with a solution-oriented perspective rather than a problem-focused mindset. It empowers you to persist when others quit, innovate when others copy, and lead when others follow. Belief in yourself is the mental framework that shapes your reality and amplifies your potential. The greatest achievers, the most influential leaders, the people who leave a legacy, all share one common trait: unshakable belief in themselves. They understand that obstacles, failures, and criticism are part of the journey, but they do not define the journey. They know that the opinions of others do not determine their worth or their potential. They know that their past does not dictate their future. They believe in themselves, and that belief propels them forward with unstoppable momentum. Belief in yourself is the difference between giving up and achieving. It is the difference between watching life happen and making life happen. It is the difference between mediocrity and greatness. It is the spark that ignites action, the fuel that sustains effort, and the shield that deflects doubt. It's not optional, it is essential. Without it, potential remains unrealized. With it, anything is possible. So start today. Look in the mirror and affirm your worth. Remind yourself of your capabilities. Trust that you have what it takes to overcome challenges, achieve your goals, and create the life you envision. Reject doubt, silence criticism, and refuse to let fear dictate your choices. Take action, persist through difficulty, and stay committed to your growth. Every step you take, every choice you make, every effort you exert is proof that your belief in yourself is real, powerful, and unstoppable. Remember this: the world may doubt you, circumstances may challenge you, and failures may confront you. But the one person whose belief matters most is you. When you believe in yourself, you create possibilities, unlock potential, and break through barriers that others accept as limitation. Your belief is your power. Your belief is your weapon. Your belief is your destiny. Believe in yourself, because when you do, nothing can stop you. Your potential is limitless, your dreams are valid, and your journey is unstoppable. Step into the life you were meant to live. Act with confidence, persist with determination, and ride with unwavering self-belief. Because when you believe in yourself, the impossible becomes possible and greatness becomes inevitable. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. That is a truth that too many people fail to recognize because they are obsessed with motivation. They think that success comes from feeling inspired, from a sudden surge of energy, or from waiting for the right moment to act. But motivation is fleeting. Motivation will disappear the moment things get tough. Discipline, on the other hand, is consistent. Discipline is unwavering. Discipline is what carries you across the finish line when motivation is long gone. Discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be, between your dreams and your reality, between your intentions and your accomplishments. Discipline is not popular. It is not glamorous. It does not make for exciting social media posts or flashy stories. Discipline is the quiet, steady force that compels you to show up when no one is watching. Discipline is doing the work when you don't feel like it. Discipline is sticking to your plan, following through on your commitment, and pushing forward even when it hurts. Most people lack discipline because they are unwilling to endure discomfort. They are unwilling to delay gratification. They are unwilling to pay the price. But discipline is the currency of success, and without it, dreams remain dreams. The greatest achievers in history did not rely on motivation alone. They relied on discipline. They relied on systems, routines, habits, and structure that allowed them to move forward regardless of how they felt. They woke up early when it was cold. They worked late when it was exhausting. They practiced relentlessly when no one was watching. That is what separates ordinary people from extraordinary people. The ability to do what needs to be done, even when it is hard, even when it is inconvenient, even when you do not feel like it. Discipline is the bridge, and it requires courage, persistence, and consistency. Discipline is about self-control. It is about saying no to the distractions, the temptations, and the shortcuts that promise quick satisfaction but deliver long-term failure. Discipline is about making the hard choices today for a better outcome tomorrow. It is about understanding that your decisions have consequences and being willing to choose what is right, not what is easy. Too many people let their impulses dictate their action. Too many people chase pleasure, comfort, and instant gratification. But discipline teaches restraint. Discipline teaches patience. Discipline teaches that the long-term reward is always greater than the short-term escape. Discipline is also about consistency. It is showing up every day, even when you do not feel like it. It is following your plan, step by step, even when progress seems invisible. It is maintaining habits that build momentum and calm over time. Without discipline, consistency is impossible. Without discipline, effort dissipates. Without discipline, motivation fades. But with discipline, you create an unshakable foundation for success. There will be moments when you are tested. Life will challenge you. Obstacles will appear. Doubts will creep in. Doubts will paralyze you. And in those moments, discipline is what keeps you moving forward. Discipline is what prevents you from quitting. Discipline is what allows you to push through adversity, to endure discomfort, and to keep your eyes on the prize. Motivation is unreliable, but discipline is reliable. Discipline is the bridge that carries you over turbulent waters when motivation cannot. Discipline requires sacrifice. It requires giving up things that do not serve your growth. It requires hard work when everyone else is resting. It requires focus when the world is noisy. It requires courage when fear wants to take control. And most importantly, it requires commitment to your goals, commitment to your vision, commitment to yourself. Discipline is not easy, it is not convenient, but it is the key that unlocks your potential. The truth is that everyone has the same number of hours in a day. Everyone has the same opportunity to act. What separates successful people from unsuccessful people is not luck, not talent, not intelligence. It is discipline. The ability to structure your life, to prioritize your time, to resist distraction, and to consistently take action toward your goals. Discipline transforms intention into action. It transforms dreams into reality. It transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Discipline is also about focus. It is about knowing what matters and eliminating what does not. It is about saying no to things that pull you away from your purpose. Discipline allows you to concentrate your energy on what will move you forward rather than spreading yourself thin. Most people waste time, energy, and resources on things that do not serve their future. Discipline teaches you to prioritize. Discipline teaches you to respect your time, your energy, and your goals. And that focus is what creates results. Discipline is forged through repetition. It is developed through routine. Every time you resist the urge to quit, every time you do what is necessary instead of what is easy, every time you persist when it is uncomfortable, you strengthen your discipline. Like a muscle, discipline grows the more it is exercised. And the stronger your discipline, the more unstoppable you become. Motivation may fade, circumstances may change, life may challenge you, but discipline will carry you through. Discipline also builds character. It teaches responsibility, accountability, and integrity. When you do the right thing, even when it is hard, even when no one is watching, you cultivate character. You build a reputation, not only in the eyes of others, but in your own eyes. Discipline forces you to live up to your potential. Discipline forces you to hold yourself to a higher standard. Discipline forces you to become the person capable of achieving your dreams. Many people underestimate the power of discipline because they are looking for quick fixes. They want shortcuts, hacks, or tricks that will allow them to succeed without effort. But there is no shortcut to greatness. There's no hack that can replace hard work. There's no trick that can substitute for commitment. Discipline is the bridge. Discipline is the path. Discipline is the work. And the sooner you embrace it, the sooner you will achieve what you desire. Discipline creates freedom. It may sound contradictory, but the truth is that when you master discipline, you are no longer a slave to your impulses, emotions, or circumstances. You are no longer controlled by fear, doubt, or distraction. Discipline gives you control over your life. Discipline gives you power. Discipline allows you to create the reality you want, rather than being at the mercy of circumstance. Without discipline, freedom is an illusion. With discipline, freedom becomes tangible. Every success story you have ever heard is a story of discipline. Every accomplishment, every achievement, every person who reached their potential did so because they were disciplined. They showed up when it was hard. They worked when it was inconvenient. They persisted when others quit. They did the work consistently, intentionally, and relentlessly. Motivation might have sparked the fire, but discipline kept it burning. Motivation might have started the journey, but discipline finished it. Discipline is about action. It is about doing what you said you would do, even when you do not feel like it. It is about following through on commitments, maintaining consistency, and pushing through discomfort. Discipline bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It transforms dreams into reality. It turns potential into performance. It is the secret ingredient that makes success inevitable. You will face challenges, setbacks, and failure. You will encounter people who doubt you, obstacles that intimidate you, and moments that test your resolve. Motivation will not carry you through. Luck will not carry you through. Talent will not carry you through. Only discipline will. Discipline will. Discipline is what allows you to persevere. Discipline is what allows you to endure. Discipline is what allows you to succeed when the odds are stacked against you. If you want to achieve greatness, you must embrace discipline. You must commit to showing up every day, doing the work consistently and following through on your goals, no matter what. You must be willing to sacrifice comfort, convenience, and immediate pleasure for the sake of your long-term vision. Discipline is not optional. Discipline is non-negotiable. Discipline is the bridge that will carry you across the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Remember, motivation is temporary, inspiration fades, and circumstances change. But discipline is reliable, constant, and enduring. Discipline is what separates winners from dreamers. Discipline is what transforms ambition into achievement. Discipline is what allows you to take control of your life and create the results you desire. Discipline is the bridge. Walk across it, and you will arrive at greatness. As we come to the conclusion of this journey together, I want you to understand one truth above all else. Your life, your future, and your success are not dictated by your past, by the mistakes you've made, by the failures you've endured, or by the people who doubted you. They are dictated by what you choose to do next, the next step, the next decision, the next action you take. Those are the moments that determine your trajectory. And it all begins with a commitment to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles, no matter the pain, no matter the fear. Life is going to hit you. Life is going to knock you down. That's guaranteed. But what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is the refusal to stay down. It is the refusal to allow adversity, disappointment, or fear to dictate your path. The choice to rise, to persist, to fight, and to move forward is yours, and yours alone. Understand then, the journey ahead will not be easy. It will not be free from challenges. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when your energy is gone, when doubt whispers in your ear, when fear threatens to paralyze you. But those are precisely the moments that define your character, that reveal your strength, and that separate the winners from the dreamers. You must learn to embrace the struggle. You must learn to welcome the challenge, because every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, to become stronger, and to sharpen your resilience. Every time life pushes you down, it is testing your commitment, and your response will determine whether you rise or remain stagnant. Keep moving forward even when it hurts. Keep moving forward even when progress seems invisible. Keep moving forward even when others doubt you, criticize you, or fail to understand your vision. The act of moving forward is, in itself, transformative. Each step, no matter how small, builds momentum. Each action, no matter how insignificant it may seem at the moment, compound. compounds over time into the result you desire. It is the cumulative effect of persistent, determined action that turns dreams into reality. If you remember this, you do not have to see the entire stake to take the first step. You simply have to move. You simply have to act. You simply have to refuse to stay in the same place. Never let your past define you. Your mistakes are not life sentences. Your failures are not proof of inadequacy. Your setbacks are not indicators of permanent defeat. They are information. They are lessons. They are stepping stones that, when properly understood and leveraged, propel you forward with greater wisdom and strength. Every mistake you have made has value. Every failure you have endured has taught you resilience. Every disappointment you have faced has prepared you for a brighter, stronger future. But these lessons are only useful if you refuse to dwell on them as chains. Your past cannot chase you unless you give it permission. Your future is waiting, and it does not care about yesterday unless you allow it to. Understand the power of discipline. It is the force that allows you to do the work even when motivation fades, even when energy wanes, even when life feels impossible. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not always exciting, but it is relentless. It is steady. It is unwavering. And it is the factor that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. The most successful people you admire did not rely on fleeting inspiration alone. They relied on the consistent, disciplined action that transformed their dreams into reality. You cannot outrun your lack of discipline. You cannot shortcut your growth. You must commit to showing up, to doing the work, and to persisting when no one else is watching. Consistency is your ally. It is the quiet, powerful force that compounds over time to create extraordinary results. Consistency is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. It is the repeated, deliberate action taken day after day, step by step, produces mastery. You do not need bursts of energy, flashes of brilliance, or moments of perfect execution. What you need is persistence. What you need is the willingness to keep showing up, to keep working, to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the path may seem. Every small effort you make, every repeated action, every decision to persist adds up, and eventually the cumulative effect will be undeniable. Fear will try to stop you. Doubt will whisper that you are not enough. Criticism will attempt to make you question your worth. But belief in yourself is the shield that protects you. Belief in yourself is the fuel that propels you forward. Belief in yourself is the difference between giving up and achieving. You must trust that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that you are prepared for the journey ahead. The world will not always validate you. Circumstances will not always align in your favor. But when you believe in yourself, nothing can prevent you from moving forward. Your self-belief is your anchor, your compass, and your engine all at once. Commitment is non-negotiable. Success is not a matter of luck, of talent, or of circumstance alone. It is a matter of relentless, unwavering commitment. It is about waking up every day and doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It is about showing up when it is inconvenient, uncomfortable, and challenging. It is about continuing the journey when others have quit, when obstacles appear insurmountable, and when failure seems inevitable. Commitment is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Without commitment, all intention is wasted. With commitment, your actions become unstoppable. You must embrace resilience. Life will push you, knock you down, and challenge your limits. Resilience is not just the ability to recover from adversity. It is the ability to adapt, to learn, and to grow stronger through every trial. Every setback is an opportunity to reinforce your strength. Every failure is an opportunity to refine your approach. Every obstacle is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you can endure, persevere, and triumph. Resilience is a mindset, and it is cultivated by choice. You may not control what happens to you, but you always control how you respond. And in that response lies your power. Take ownership of your life. Refuse to blame others. Refuse to make excuses, and refuse to let circumstances dictate your path. The moment you take full responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your outcomes, you reclaim control. You empower yourself. You transform from a passive participant in life to an active creator of your reality. Ownership is freedom. Ownership is power. Ownership is the mindset that allows you to keep moving forward regardless of what life throws at you. Understand the power of small steps. Progress is not always dramatic. Growth is often invisible. But each step, each action, each decision matters. Every time you choose to move forward, no matter how small the step, you reinforce momentum. Every effort counts, every choice compounds. You may not see the results today, tomorrow, or next week, but if you persist, if you remain disciplined, if you continue to believe in yourself, the results will come. The key is to keep moving, to keep pushing, and to never stop until you reach the life you envision. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is temporary. Inspiration is fleeting. You cannot rely on them to carry you forward when the road gets tough. What you can rely on is discipline, consistency, commitment, resilience, and self-belief. You can rely on your refusal to quit. You can rely on your willingness to take action even when it is difficult. You can rely on your understanding that every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals. Motivation may ignite the fire, but discipline and persistence are what keep it burning. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. Every step you take forward is a victory over stagnation, over fear, over doubt, and over past failures. Every decision to persevere is proof that you are moving in the right direction. Every action you take, no matter how seemingly insignificant, compounds over time to produce extraordinary outcomes. Progress is not always visible immediately, but it is always real. Trust the process, trust your journey, and trust yourself. Remember, you are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you realize. You are more resilient than you imagine. Your past does not define you. Your fears do not control you. Your failures are not permanent. Your potential is limitless, and your capacity for growth is infinite. All that is required is the courage to move forward, the determination to persist, and the belief that you can achieve what you set out to accomplish. The journey of life is not about perfection, it is about persistence. It is not about avoiding mistakes. It is about learning from them. It is not about having all the answers. It is about taking action and adjusting along the way. The people who achieve greatness are not those who never fail. They are those who refuse to quit. They are those who embrace the struggle, overcome adversity, and keep moving forward step by step, day by day, until their vision becomes reality. So today, I challenge you to make a decision to refuse to be held back by your past, to reject fear, to silence doubt, to embrace discipline, and to move forward with unwavering commitment. Decide that no obstacle will stop you, no setback will define you, and no criticism will derail you. Decide that you will keep moving forward, no matter what. Because the moment you make that decision, everything changes. The trajectory of your life shifts. The possibilities expand. Your potential is unlocked. Keep moving forward, even when it is hard. Keep moving forward, even when progress is slow. Keep moving forward, even when the world doubts you. Every step, every action, every choice to persist is a declaration that you will not be stopped. Every moment of courage reinforces your strength. Every act of discipline compounds your power. Every decision to believe in yourself fuels your journey. And the cumulative effect of these actions will carry you beyond what you ever imagined possible. As you leave here today, carry this truth with you. Your future is not written by your past. Your life is not limited by your failures. Your potential is boundless, and your capacity for greatness is infinite. The only thing that matters is that you keep moving forward. Refuse to quit. Refuse to give up. Refuse to allow fear, doubt, or past failures to define you. Keep moving forward with discipline, with resilience, with belief in yourself, and with unwavering commitment. And when life gets tough, and it will remember why you started. Remember the dreams that fuel your journey, the goals that define your purpose, and the vision of the life you are determined to create. Remember that every challenge you overcome, every setback you endure, and every obstacle you conquer is a testament to your strength, your courage, and your relentless spirit. Keep moving forward, because the person you are becoming is waiting on the other side of persistent dedication and faith in yourself. There will never be a perfect time, a perfect moment, or a perfect set of circumstances to start. The time is now. The moment is now. The choice is yours. Step forward, take action, trust yourself. Keep moving forward. Your past cannot chase you. Your failures do not define you. Your fears do not control you. Your potential is limitless, and your future is in your hands. Keep moving forward, and there's nothing in this world that can stop you from achieving greatness.